What is up, everybody? Good afternoon and welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Today we're going to be taking a look at Human Torch. This is going to be sort of a beginner's guide. I'm not going to go over everything you need to know about this character, but we are going to go over all of his basic abilities, some combos, and things to keep in mind as you're using the abilities. So let's get right into it. So starting off, we have our primary fire. This thing is kind of more of a shotgun blast than anything. I know a lot of people use it as more of like a spread, poke, impossible to miss kind of thing. But as you can see, if I'm using this from range, it doesn't do a ton of damage. And if I use it against a wall right here, you can see that the spread actually changes every single time. So you're going to get super inconsistent damage if you're using it from really far range, but it does have a headshot multiplier, and all the projectiles do damage. So if you get up closer like this, you're obviously not going to be playing in melee range, but you can do something like that, where you are two-tapping, overkilling a two-tap, which is a little bit crazy when you can kind of get up and close and personal on this character. You're going to be doing a ton more damage. As you can see, even from like 15 meters away, we're able to still get a two-tap on a target. So keep that in mind. When you get really, really far away, this is going to do some pretty inconsistent damage. So that's the primary fire. You can also see in the center of my screen, I have these little flame things. They recharge very, very quickly, but this is going to be your limit on left clicking or primary firing. As long as you weave in your right clicks, you will have no trouble keeping this up. You'll never have to reload. Don't even worry about it. So going into his next ability, we're going to be looking at his right click. So his right click just throws this little flame pool on the ground. Pretty simple, does damage to targets that are standing in it. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, very, very healable damage on its own. So, don't count on that to just solo kill somebody, but it is really good for dislodging people off of high ground. So you can get it up here. Someone's standing on high ground, suddenly they don't have a ledge to play on. Something like this, you can get some good follow-up damage like this, get a pool under someone and take them out pretty quickly. So pretty cool ability. The really cool part of this ability is when it interacts with his other ones. So when you use your E, you actually connect all of your flame pools on the ground with a line. The thing that's cool about this line is that it both does damage to the targets standing on the line or that come in contact with the line, and it also does damage to everywhere in between. So for this demonstration, we're going to make a box, and you're going to see that this bot in the middle, he's not going to actually touch any of the lines, but he is still going to be taking damage. So we'll put down one corner, two corners, three corners, four corners. We're going to connect them. And this bot doesn't even touch the line, but he actually does still die to the damage before he gets kind of to the other end. So that's something that you can do with this a lot. It applies with squares, it applies with triangles, but for this demonstration, it's just easier to show. So we make a little box, and you can see that this guy is not touching any lines, but he's still taking a ton of damage in the middle. So important to use. A lot of people don't use that super well. So try and make spaces where enemies are going to be standing. You're going to get a lot more value instead of just doing something like this, where you just get a line and you're hitting one target, Okay, so that is his flame pools. That's pretty much all you need to know. His F is just this dive bomb attack, and it also detonates flame pools. So if you throw it on a flame pool, it will do some extra bonus damage, and it will detonate so a little bit of extra damage, and we'll show what a combo looks like in just a second here. Something that I've noticed about this dash is that it's a little bit finicky. And one more note too about the right click. You can put it on ledges, but as soon as you put it on on a shield tank, it'll just go away. It'll also not stick to walls, so you can't use this on walls. So don't try and do that. Make sure that you are actually hitting like a flat surface, a ground or something like that. Anyway, back to his F. So what I've noticed is that I try and sometimes I'll get in a weird situation and I'll try and escape. So if I'm just spamming my F here, I'm actually out of range of all these situations, and only as soon as I get in range will it take me to the ground. So if you're really trying to get away, this won't like auto dash you to the furthest distance like some other abilities in some other games would. That kind of tripped me out. I don't know if anyone else has any struggles with that, but that's the case. So if you're out of range, don't try and again, spamming F, and that's the only place that it activates. You can direct this, you can go less far or whatever, but if you're trying to get a max range one, make sure you play around with that distance so you know what to expect. And now that we have all of his abilities kind of figured out, let's go into this Luna Snow. So this would obviously be an ideal situation, but if you left click, right click F, you should get something close to a one-shot from something like medium range, which is kind of crazy. You're not going to get a perfect setup like this sometimes, but this is just to show how much burst damage this guy does, because a lot of people will be stuck you know, at range doing something like this. And all of that is unbelievably easy healable damage. I mean, healers are going to eat that up, especially if it's a 3 healer composition. You're never going to kill anybody like that. You're going to get a ton of damage in the game, but you're not going to have any kind of meaningful damage. So when you get situations like this where you're able to left click, right click, and get a ton of burst damage on a target, even if you don't one-shot them, there is a way to one-shot them. I don't know why I'm messing it up, but yeah, if you're able to get someone low like that, that's going to be much, much more impactful, put a ton more pressure on that enemy, you know, teammate, and force them to either blow a cooldown, get away, reposition, and that's really what this character is. You want to be zoning off high ground. You're trying to, you know, create these lines, create these areas where enemies don't want to stand, you know, lines or triangles, squares, that sort of thing, and then try and burst people down when you see an opportunity. So be on the lookout for that. The last thing that we're going to go over before his ultimate is the left shift. So we're just going to, you know, use this. Makes you turn a little more orange, gives you a little bit of fire, faster flying. You know, you can see that bar on the right hand side of my screen there. That's your timer. So can't do this indefinitely, but it's a very, very lengthy timer. You're typically never going to use that entire bar. At least I haven't when I've been playing this character. The last thing, and the thing that I see most people use pretty ineffectively, is his ultimate. So you're going to activate this ultimate, and your right click is going to, instead of putting these little fire poles on the ground, is going to put tornadoes on the ground. These are going to do a crazy amount of damage to people that stand in them. So again, playing to this character's archetype of like a zone control sort of flyer. But the thing that most people don't know, they just spam right click the entire time. You can only have 3 tornadoes out. You can use right click probably 8 or 9 times during the duration, but you can only have 3 tornadoes. So we're going to activate it here. We're going to use 1, we're going to use 2, we're going to use 3. As soon as I activate the 4th one, the first one disappears, and as you can see, it follows suit. So you can only have 3 out. As you can see, I made a ton more tornadoes than just the 3, but as soon as you use the 3 tornadoes and they're in places you want, use your other abilities. Do other damage, because the more you reactivate them, you might just be helping people to escape them. So you can't just leave 3 tornadoes on the back line, go and pop 3 tornadoes on the front line, and have 6 tornadoes all doing damage. That's just not how that works. So make sure that you know that you only have 3 tornadoes. If you need to reposition them, do it. But, you know, if you put 3 tornadoes and you're zoning off an entire hallway, you can still left click, you can still dive bomb, you can still do some follow-up damage this way. So make sure that you're utilizing that. So but yeah, this is a very, very cool character. I think he's going to take a lot of getting used to as far as making sure that people are able to get value with this character. Make sure that you're playing at kind of a moderate range. You're not too far away, making sure that you're using that headshot damage, that shotgun spread. His autos are pretty hard to land too, so it's going to take some time to get used to. But make sure that you're not standing in Narnia going like this, because any healer is going to out-heal that easily. You can see that was like an 8-second time to kill with no healing done. So yeah, give this character a go. I'll be doing a guide on the thing coming up here too. Thank you guys again for all the support. Hope this video helps you out. Try out Human Torch. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.